Hi, welcome to a very special edition of RSG Insider. I'm your host, Carol Ieromnimon, Associate with RSG. Today, I'm accompanied by my colleague, Miss Jessica Gonzales. She's one of our newest directors. Jessica, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Carol. Thank you for having me.
Of course, I'm super excited to have you here today to, discuss your background and help lead a discussion on community and neighborhood development, and of which is a really important component of the work that we do here at RSG. And so for our folks listening, this episode will be a bit different from our previous episodes as we have reached out to various leaders in local government throughout the state of California to hear about their roles and how their organizations assist communities across the state. But before we jump into that, Jessica, I'd really love to hear from you. Tell us about your experience, background, and what ultimately led you here to RSG.
I would love to. So I have been in the field of community and economic development for approximately 20 years. Really leading economic development and growth strategies for cities throughout Southern California. And throughout this time, I've been able to bring in programs to help elevate their local economies. And the ways that I've been able to do that is working hand in hand with a variety of partner agencies very similar to the ones that we're highlighting today. So for me, it's a joy to be here with you and to be able to validate the great impact that these organizations are making. Now, the reason I decided to join RSG is because it is a firm that is truly living its mission, building better communities, creating bolder futures. And you know this, Carol, the way that we do this is by embracing our role as a municipal advisor. We listen to our communities that we're supporting, we learn of opportunities and strengths, and we respond by developing customized solutions that take these opportunities, bring in partnerships that can amplify the results in these communities.
That's awesome. I know that we're super excited to have you join our team, and the extensive experience that you bring here is amazing. So, as you know, RSG, we do have the privilege of working with nonprofits and community leaders throughout the state, and who are really at the forefront of this type of work, supporting local businesses, driving community development, and fostering meaningful change. And who better to help us unpack this topic than Miss Jessica Gonzales? So Jessica, can we start with the basics, and can you please tell us what is community and neighborhood development?
Yes, community and neighborhood development is at its heart a very intentional, thoughtful approach. It's about developing customized, tailored solutions for that specific community. Community development is at its heart very intentional, very thoughtful. It's about developing activities, resources that are tailored to the needs of that community. It will ask the pertinent questions. Who's within my community? How do I support them? What I love about community development is that it's so unique that the achievement, the success to be desired will be defined by that community itself.
That's a great point that you make. It's definitely shaped by the people that live there. And it feels like there's this powerful connection between grassroots involvement and larger scale community planning. But to dig a little deeper, can you help us and our viewers understand, why is this work so important in today's world?
Yes, community development is so vital today because without it, attempts at creating an inclusive environment are going to fall short. Because once again, there's an intentionality behind it. Who's within my community? How do they want to engage with us? What platforms do we use? What's important to them? These are the important questions that have to be asked. Quite honestly, without this thoughtful approach, local voices will not be heard, which is the opposite of what our city leaders want, what our elected officials want. And having worked in the public sector, I can share with you that local elected officials, city leaders, gain so much from the lived experiences of their constituents. And it's these local voices that are able to help us as a firm, as we're supporting our city clients, to develop practical solutions that are responsive to the needs that they identified.
That's amazing. Fostering inclusion and resilience. I think it's definitely it's a collaborative effort. When residents and leaders come together, I think that the results can be transformative for a community. So Jessica, you've really explained to us and done so really well what community and neighborhood development is. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on the roles that nonprofits play in this work. Why are they such key partners to community development?
Nonprofits are amazing partners in community development because they bring with them a whole new level of expertise. Whether it's supportive housing, specialized job training, a city can now lean on their expertise, ensuring that projects are more efficient and can be streamlined. And beyond these impacts, There's also the added benefit that nonprofits and community-based organizations are creating inroads into that community because they are building trust among the recipients of their services. So as you can imagine, the city now has a trusted, valued partner in a nonprofit who's allowing them to broaden their reach and create far-reaching impacts within.
Yeah, it's really clear that I think that these nonprofits can really amplify the impact of community development efforts, making it more collaborative and, of course, sustainable. So on this topic, our team did some outreach with various leaders in communities across California who are actively involved in community and neighborhood development, particularly in activities that elevate the economic well-being and quality of life for underserved and/or disadvantaged communities, our community members. So let's hear what some of our community leaders across California have to say about this.
I'm the founder and president of Asociación de Emprendedoras. We're a 501c3 nonprofit organization with a mission to educate, motivate, empower, and develop the leadership skills and business acumen of the monolingual Hispanic community in the United States, helping them with the integration of the local economies of the city, counties, and states. In the communities that we serve, it's normally men and women and underserved areas, and also those that think they don't have any chance to have a better life. We normally like to uplift them, letting them know that yes, they can do whatever they want. They can fulfill the dream of becoming entrepreneurs through our Emprendedores program.
I've been with IHO for 18 years, and I started off as a part-time project manager, new to affordable housing. My background was high-end single-family residential. I have been in every position in the company now and have been the president and CEO since 2018. Our core business is housing that's affordable for those living at low to moderate incomes. And that means it could be in urban settings, it can be in suburban settings, small communities, etc. The way I like to look at it is our purpose is to use housing as the foundation for very strong and healthy families and high-performing cities.
It's called Opportunity Stanislaus, formerly known as the Stanislaus Business Alliance. We are an economic development organization that serves Stanislaus County in California's Central Valley. We also kind of serve the whole northern San Joaquin Valley region through some of the services we do. I am the CEO. I came here in end of 2013, so I've been here about 11 years. I've served in economic development for over 35 years of my career, and I was hired to be the CEO for the new organization. As an organization, what we do is we're about 80% privately funded, and our funding comes from a lot of manufacturers, but all sorts of businesses, the healthcare community, manufacturers, corporate headquarters, small and large businesses. The other 20% comes from the cities and the county we serve, and we have an MOU in place with each city in the county, 9 cities in 1 county.
Absolutely. So thank you so much for this opportunity. As the founder and CEO of Fuego, I do lead the strategic direction for the organization and ensure that we stay true to our mission of empowering diverse entrepreneurs. Our goal is to really provide resources and opportunities that underrepresented founders typically don't have. We focus on serving BIPOC, Hispanic, women, and veteran entrepreneurs and other marginalized communities in both English and Spanish with our resources, and really helping them turn their businesses into thriving ventures.
Wow, these clips highlight such a diverse range of impactful efforts that each of these organizations are implementing. And I think they're also, addressing the unique needs that respond to their communities, but yet they all have this underlying commitment to uplifting these underserved communities. Wouldn't you agree?
Exactly. What really stands out for me is the leadership behind these organizations. I think their passion and commitment is palpable. And I'm sure that it translates not only to their organization, but in the communities in which they're serving. And it's this commitment that leads to transformational change. And that is exactly what local elected officials, city leaders are looking for. Not just change for today, change that has longevity, that can transform and uplift their local economies.
Next, we'll hear from the group on what success looks like in serving members of their respective communities.
When I hear that question, it really gives me goosebumps. And the reason is because when people come to our program, which is on our staple program, the Emprendedores program, they come with a lot of doubts, thinking, I'm not good enough, I don't deserve this. And what we do is we help them believe in themselves. And we do this through three main pillars: the empowerment of the individual, the development of the leadership skills, and teaching them and guiding on the technical assistance, which is how to start a business, a small business, complying with all the legal requirements. So at graduation events, when I see them blossoming, I'm having goosebumps right now. It is amazing because somebody joined us 8 weeks ago and not believing in themselves, and now they are, hey, I'm starting my business. I know I can do it. I'm having more clients. I increase my sales. And for me, that's one of success.
Success for me is passing the baton. What we do is mostly subsidized housing. And the idea that somebody would still be living in our housing who is able-bodied or does not have any condition that would preclude them from living independently, success for me is that person moving on and then passing the baton. So that family has steadied themselves. They've been able to attain educational success, have improved in their career prospects, and have moved on their own. I'll give you an example of a success story for us. We had a family of 5 who was living in one room. They were teetering on the verge of homelessness. And after living in our community for about 4 years, they had participated in all of our programs, educational programs, resume writing, etc. They bought their own home using no public assistance, no first-time homebuyer programs. They were able to both get better jobs, increase their education, save money and clear their credit, and buy their own home. And now they come back and they help other families do the same. That's what success looks like to me.
For me, success is really leading these entrepreneurs through a strategic visioning exercise and seeing their visions come to fruition. Really watching these founders create sustainable businesses that help provide jobs and generate generational wealth within our communities. There's nothing more rewarding than that as part of this, being a part of this ecosystem. And for us, it's not just about getting the businesses off the ground, but also helping them flourish long-term. So creating really sustainable growth plans and really growing responsibly. And we, of course, success would also include, of course, tracking metrics like revenue growth, job creation, and that overall impact they're making in their local communities.
Wow, listening to these stories is really inspiring, and it really illustrates the profound impact that these organizations and programs have on individuals in the community. But isn't it interesting how success can vary from one community and/or organization to the other?
Perfectly stated. Success varies because the community makeup varies. And that's one thing that I really appreciate that we do at RSG. We listen to the communities in which we are serving to be able to identify what will success look like. For example, we could be working in a city where there is a strong youth presence, and success there might be developing career pathways that are going to support that up-and-coming workforce generation, connecting them with local universities and working with the local high schools to develop these programs. And so what's the beauty of it is that bringing in a nonprofit now allows that city to fill in those voids, because nonprofits can bring in the specialized training for manufacturers, entrepreneurship or career pathways for youth. It's this connection that really cements the relationship between a nonprofit and a city. It's bringing together resources to leverage what the city has and ensure that success, as desired by the community, can be fulfilled.
Absolutely. And I think it's also interesting how each organization defines success not just by these immediate outcomes, but by long-term impacts. I think there's a sense of passing the baton, creating sustainable businesses, fostering independence, and seeing those who have received help turn around and help others. So I think there's that pay it forward mentality happening here. And I think it's a powerful reminder of the value of investing in people and their potential. Do you agree?
Definitely. It's this mindset that really leads to tangible success. But let's hear a little bit more about the accomplishments of these wonderful organizations.
The first one I want to mention is the Emprendedoras program was born back in 2016 based on the need to support women that had suffered domestic violence. Out of teaching the program and the need that I saw back on those days, I decided to launch the nonprofit organization in 2018. So since 2016, we have graduated 1,445 people as of September 5th, 2024. We also had an MOU with Chapman University, led by Entrepreneurship Center of Business and Ethics. And it was an amazing coordination of efforts with Chapman University to support the residents of Orange County. We just graduated 36 new emprendedores, through that MOU and the support of course, the organizations that fund our services. So we do have a lot of success stories that we can share, from people thinking, I don't know what I'm going to do, to those that are making thousands of dollars now because they trust us, and of course the partners that we bring with us as well.
One of our most notable and I think recognized programs is called Volt Institute. It's an advanced manufacturing training center that we started in 2016 at the behest of local manufacturers. At the time, there was a real concern about lack of skilled talent in manufacturing, particularly with maintenance mechanics, electricians, and advanced techs. So we started Volt, and we were able to win 3 EDA grants over the last 7 years that allowed us to buy equipment to help us scale. And now we have, we've graduated 400 students through Volt over the years. And right now we have about 100 students in our various programs. And so it's really made a difference for the local manufacturing base with the talent pool increasing.
Wow, that is some amazing stuff. I really think that the number of graduates that have gone through their program or these programs is quite impressive. Am I right?
You're absolutely right. And what I love is that these organizations are creating these entrepreneurship pathways, career development, but it's more than that. It's tangible, measurable success. And I can tell you that local elected officials, city leaders, rightfully so, have to demonstrate that time and resources are being allocated efficiently. And what better way to demonstrate this than with graduates that are going through these programs? They are now equipping themselves with additional knowledge and ability to be these contributors to their local economy. So it's commendable. It's success that is being demonstrated.
Absolutely. And I think that these examples really make me think of what the word partner really means, and the level of commitment that is involved and needed from both the city as well as the nonprofit organizations. So Jessica, with your extensive experience working for cities throughout Southern California, can you help me and our viewers understand the importance of partnerships for both the city and the community?
I love the word partnership. There's so much to unwrap there. Throughout my career in local government, what I learned is that partnership really has 3 fundamental pillars: humility, respect, and give and take. Humility to recognize you can't do it alone. Early in my career, I knew that I can't do it alone, the city can't do it alone. That's when you lean on the expertise of nonprofits and community-based organizations. This develops a respect for their insights and the impact that they're making in your community. And with that, there's happily give and take. In a good way. You're giving of your time and resources, you're clearing the path of any obstacles, and you're benefiting from the insights that they bring. These 3 fundamental pillars, humility, respect, give and take, really lead to a strong partnership.
That's a great point that you make in the 3 pillars you've mentioned. So, I imagine that while there's a lot of success and good qualities that come with these partnerships, I'm sure there's some challenges that arise, and maybe you can help us understand what these challenges might be.
Of course, as with any relationship, there are challenges that might arise. These could entail perhaps limited funds, so competing projects for limited funds, or a change of priorities, perhaps newly elected officials coming in, well-intentioned, but with a set of goals that might vary slightly from their predecessor. Regardless of the challenges, this is where the partnership can rise above, and they can jointly, as a team, assess, evaluate the best course to take, and stay true to the mission of really helping that local community.
That's a great point. I think, how you address these hurdles is really going to dictate the success of that partnership. So on this note, let's hear from our community members on their partnerships and how they've navigated some of these challenges.
As a matter of fact, there's a great collaboration that we are working on now in the city of Anaheim. It's at the corner of Lincoln and Beach Boulevard. It's exciting to me on so many levels. Once upon a time, Lincoln or Beach Boulevard was known as the road to summer. And during the period of community redevelopment agencies, the city had started to acquire different sites. And a site that we are looking at in particular has an operating gas station on it and 2 former hotels or motels that had been knocked down. What is so exciting to me is that the city is a true partner. The city of Anaheim is one of those cities that really does roll up their sleeves with the developer. And we went for an RFP and just decided, let's throw everything out there that we think would make a vibrant, hyper-local community and see what the city says about it. And to our surprise, they agreed with just about everything we said. This project is going to have affordable and mixed income housing. That means from very low income to moderate income. So those who might be at risk of or experiencing homelessness to those who are in entry and mid-career level professionals. It's going to have home ownership in addition to rental, but the city is allowing us to take the former gas station and convert that into a micro enterprise, a micro social enterprise space. So we will be able to have on one site, or it's actually 4 different sites, but they're all contiguous, public art, outdoor space, green technology, social enterprise space where we will be equipping and building entrepreneurs in that community. So it's going to be one of the most exciting projects that we're looking at. I love it because both the Economic Development Agency and the Community Development Department, where housing falls under, are working together. To me, this is catalytic, and this is scalable and replicable that we would like to see others take the model that we're putting together with the city and do that in other communities.
Well, for one thing, we can't do this alone. I mean, it really is a major lift. It takes a lot of collaboration. And so first and foremost are all the companies that support us. We have 150 private industrial, mainly industrial, but many companies that support us, 150. It's the workforce investment boards. We cover kind of a 4-county area. So we work with Stanislaus, San Joaquin, Merced, and also up in Tuolumne County, up in the foothills. It's all the different nonprofit agencies.
So the role that Anaheim has taken is really impressive. What are your thoughts on that?
I love what Anaheim is doing because they are truly setting the bar, creating a model for what happens when a city is committed and all in with their partners. And we can see here what Anaheim is doing in partnership with this nonprofit is they are creating a mixed income project, affordable housing, but more than that, the undertone of this to me is that they're not just building houses, they're creating homes for those residents. So once again, a fantastic example of a partnership that is truly working.
Yeah, and I think it sounds like the model that Anaheim has come up with can certainly be replicated and used in other communities to show how effective teamwork, between the city, the nonprofits, and the communities can really make a difference. So, and I think a lot of challenges or limitations can be mitigated or somewhat avoided through quality partnerships. Do you agree on that?
I do agree. And the phrase quality partnership can seem a little daunting, but at the heart of it, it's really about continued trust and dialogue. Having that open communication from the beginning, that trust, to be able to, when hurdles arise, and undoubtedly they will, be able to sit down, devise new strategies, really have that candid feedback. Where are we limited? Where are ways that we can slightly pivot, but staying true to the course ahead?
Yeah, the teamwork makes the dream work. All right, so let's tune back in and hear from our community leaders on what lessons can be learned from their experience.
Yeah, so that's a great question. One thing I've tried to do is really try to understand the culture of the community. Don't automatically launch into something before you've done your homework. And so when you get into a new job, go around and talk to a lot of people and try to understand what makes them tick. Do a lot of listening, a lot of learning. I'm glad I've done that over the years because, for example, an economic developer who came here might be tempted to just kind of launch into trying to attract all these companies without really getting the opinions or the concerns of the private sector or whoever it may be.
Meet them in the middle, talk to them, and see what the dreams are and how they can support those people that have those dreams to become independent, entrepreneurs, and also trust that your investment in this community will have a return of investment to the same community by having productive people, healthy and happy people, because that's what the program brings. And also, every single participant of the program will mentor and multiply 10 plus times.
What I think would be great is for economic developers and housing developers to realize we're actually on the same team. If the housing is in place, then the population has the disposable income to support the economic development in the community. If the economic development is in place, then those are communities that residents want to move in because all of the amenities and the creature comforts that they're looking for are in that same location.
So I think being open to brainstorming with local organizations, again, like ours and others that are in the community, really, kind of having that listening ear to the ground to really understand what's happening in the community so that we can co-create really creative solutions together that are going to help meet the needs of those founders to be able to create those thriving businesses that can then, again, employ more people and really grow within their communities. All of this, is that cyclical economy that's going to help not only bring generational wealth to the people building the businesses, but also that economic impact to the municipalities.
So I really love the advice about, taking the time to understand the community before you go in and jump in with solutions, right? So listening to what people need and what motivates them, I think is such a crucial step to building something that will truly make an impact. Can you help share your thoughts on that?
This is exactly what community development is about. Listening, learning, being able to understand what are the dreams, the aspirations of my community members. How do we support them? How do we bring in nonprofits, agencies to help us? And trusting that that investment will pay off. What I also love that was shared is the connection between housing and economic development. Housing and economic development are definitely going hand in hand. For example, a business comes into a community, they want to, of course, have customers. What better way to get these customers than from the residents that are living within that city, shopping, dining, supporting these local businesses. The business, in turn, can hire locally, support those residents by creating jobs. This is a cycle of economic growth. Residents supporting businesses and businesses supporting residents.
I totally agree, and I like that connection between housing and community development that you've made. But before we go, Jessica, can you help share some of the work that you have with RSG that is similar to the topic that we discussed today on community and neighborhood development?
I would love to. So I'm working with a couple cities right now to help them develop an economic development strategy or bolster the business attraction, retention efforts. And our foundational first step, once again, is to be able to identify strengths, opportunities that could be in the form of partnerships, bringing these partnerships in to fill those voids, partnerships that can offer, as we learned today, supportive housing services, entrepreneurial development, business growth, strategies to grow operationally. This is a foundational first step. We can go into the variety of different facets of the strategy development, but the first foundational building block definitely has to be the partnership creation. And this is something that we take pride in doing at RSG, really being that facilitator and connector.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Jessica, for being here and discussing such an important topic with myself and our viewers listening today. And I also do want to take a moment with your help to thank each and every one of our partners that spoke with us and shared their stories. And I'm going to kick us off with saying thank you to Rochelle Mills with Innovative Housing Opportunities.
And Mónica Robles, Asociación de Emprendedoras.
Dave White from Opportunity Stanislaus.
Amber Tarrac with Founder Fuego. And I want to thank you, Carol, for having me here today, allowing me to highlight how RSG is committed to empowering our city clients by connecting them with amazing, wonderful partners like the ones that we featured today.
Of course. All right, well, if anyone who is listening is interested in joining our wonderful RSG team, please be sure to head over to our website at rsgsolutions.com. And if you liked what you heard today, please be sure to give us a follow, like, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.